Like I said before, it's almost like having a geranium latte. It's like a floral latte. Like, it's so nice. Like, I actually want to drink. I would love to make that drink. Good morning, guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm super excited to share with you a first impression as well as a little review on the newest releases from Kayali Fragrances. So this is their entire OUDGASM collection. So I want to say a huge thank you to Mona Catan and Kayali Fragrances, and also to Huda Beauty for sending me over this PR package. I was lucky enough to receive a package with all 4 of their new OUDGASM fragrances, and I'm super excited to share my thoughts on them with you today. So if you guys are new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. My name's Alithia, and on this channel, I do share a little bit about perfume. I share a little bit about minimalism, decluttering, organizing. I really love fashion. I love shoes. I love skincare, and I pretty much just share anything with you guys that sparks joy in me and brings me happiness. So if you guys like coffee and you like the aesthetics and the vibe of this channel, I would love if you would consider subscribing. You can also feel free to head over and follow me on Instagram, where I do share a lot of other little tidbits of my life that don't pop up here on YouTube. And yeah, with that out of the way, you guys, let's get started in today's little first impression and review. So today I'm obviously just doing a first impression. By the way, if you see a band-aid on my finger, I cut myself cutting watermelon the other night. So just ignore the band-aid, but I couldn't not unbox it with you. I wanted to show you the beautiful packaging. I'm so excited to open this, and we're going to do a first impression sniff today. I'm so excited, you guys. I can't wait. All right, so when I first take the top off, you guys, I'm so excited. So first of all, it comes with this little information package. The OUDGASM collection talks about a little bit about the OUDGASM collection, something that Kayali has been working on for a really long time. And you have Vanilla Oud, Cafe Oud, I guess I should say the numbers, Vanilla Oud 36, Cafe Oud 19, Rose Oud 16, and Tobacco Oud 04. So there's this information. I love the photos, you guys. Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with this. Like, this advertising, it's so pretty. The Vanilla Oud 36 has a low oud intensity, which is probably going to be good for me and for a lot of their primary clientele who probably don't want a huge amount of oud in their fragrance. Cafe Oud has the second amount of oud intensity, Rose Oud has the third amount, and then the Tobacco Oud has the fourth amount. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited, you guys. Okay, and then she also has her favorite layering combination. So it says Tobacco Oud layers well with Vanilla Oud, Rose Oud, and Vanilla. Okay, so obviously they all can be paired with vanilla, and the vanilla goes best, according to her, with the tobacco and the... Oh my gosh, so this is amazing, except it's probably going to make a lot of people want to have multiple of these fragrances. Which is a risky slope for me, as we know. And that's what the full-size bottles look like. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so excited. I actually had my name on a wait list for the Vanilla Oud on Huda Beauty. And then I got an email saying that I was actually getting these in PR. So yeah, I'm so excited. Let's go ahead and unbox them and give them a spray and smell them. If you're like me and you love perfume as much as I do, and you've ever smelt a perfume for the first time blindly, you know. Or maybe if you've received these in PR yourself, you know that feeling right before you spray it. It's like opening a door to an unknown world. Okay, how about we start out with the one that is the highest oud, and let's save what I think is going to be my favorite for last. So I think we will spray the Tobacco Oud first, and then we'll do, I think, the Rose Oud. And we'll save the Cafe Oud and the Vanilla Oud for last, because I have a feeling that those are going to be my 2 favorites. And historically, I will be perfectly honest, you guys, I haven't always been a huge fan of Rose Oud combinations, like Oud Satin Mood from MFK. Honestly, not a favorite. What else? Intense Cafe, that's not really an oud fragrance, but I just am not a huge fan of like a rose oud coffee. That kind of thing for me has never been my vibe. So I don't know, but I'm really interested to spray it and find out anyway. And I'm also guessing that the tobacco one is probably going to be the most masculine. I haven't watched any reviews on any of these fragrances, and I also haven't watched a lot of the PR that's been out there, because I don't like to be swayed one way or another. I kind of like to just smell and have my own first impression. So I really don't know what to expect with any of these. Yeah, but I'm so excited. Let's go ahead and start out with our tobacco. Okay guys, so this is the first one. This is a little 10 ml miniature of the Kayali OUDGASM Tobacco Oud 04. So the notes that are in here, you guys, this sounds amazing. White honey, clary sage, geranium, mandarin orange, and plum in the opening. In the middle, they have saffron and clove, and in the base, they have tobacco, vanilla, benzoin, praline, oud, and patchouli. I'm so stoked to smell this. I can't even tell you right now. I love the looks of that praline, the vanilla, the benzoin. Okay, let's give Tobacco Oud 04. Ooh, love the atomizers. Kayali atomizers are unmatched. And I'm sure my room is going to smell like the best smelling perfume parlor in the world. I can smell it already. Ooh, oh my gosh, it's good. Oh my god, it's good. I love oud. I love oud so much. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Okay, if you guys like oud, you're gonna like this. Oh my gosh, wow. Okay. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I don't even know what else to say. It smells like the inside of a very expensive, posh hotel that has oud and vanilla floating through the air. Yeah, a little bit on the masculine side. I think that they said there was, did they say tobacco? Yeah, obviously there's tobacco in here. Yeah, it's a little bit masculine. I think definitely a woman could wear it, and I'm excited to try layering it with the vanilla. As they say, this one pairs well with the vanilla. Oh, it's good. It's really good, you guys. If you like any of those warm, woody, spicy, oudy, tobacco, vanilla fragrances, if you like that thing, you will like this. This is one of their best perfumes to date. I'm probably going to say that about all of them, but this is one of their best perfumes to date. So definitely the tobacco is pretty pronounced. I'm excited to put these all on skin, obviously. This is just first impression and this is just on paper, so I'm sure they'll smell quite different on skin as well. Like I said, I will come back and do kind of a follow-up to this and tell you guys my overall impressions on skin after I've worn them, longevity. This is just my first impression. But yeah, definitely it's a smooth, clean, aromatic tobacco. It's not, and tobacco and oud, it's not dry, screechy, headachy. You know how Royal Vanilla Sugared Patchouli, when that one came out, that one had oud in it as well. And actually I love that scent. I think that's a really nice scent. But you know how that one, when you first sprayed it, it was kind of almost a little screechy in the beginning, a little harsh in the beginning. It was just kind of very potent. This is not like that. Not to say anything bad about that one. That one was great. But this is like smooth and clean and like refined right off the get-go. Lots of vanilla. I think unisex, leaning masculine, like I would say 60 to 70% masculine is how I feel about this one. This is the kind of scent you want to smell on your boyfriend's t-shirt or suit or whatever he's wearing. This is that scent. Okay, gonna have to take some more time with these, obviously. I'm loving smelling this strip right now. It's gorgeous, but that is my first impression of the Tobacco Oud 04. All right, guys, so this one sounds lovely. I'm just looking at the notes here on Fragrantica. This is the Kayali OUDGASM Rose Oud 16, and the notes that you have in here are geranium, lemon, and pear in the opening, so kind of a fresh, even slightly fruity opening. We have Bulgarian rose and peony in the middle, and it looks like a lot of it, judging by where people have like upvoted the notes on Fragrantica. And then in the base, you have oud, vanilla, and cashmere wood. So kind of a simple composition according to what they have here. So I really like the addition of the cashmere wood in there. I love a warm, cozy cashmere kind of a vibe in a fragrance. Let's go ahead and give her a spray. Okay. Rose Oud. Okay, let's see. Ooh. Oh my gosh, that's classy. Oh, it's pretty. It's pretty. Wow, it's so pretty. Oh my god, what? You guys, I've never smelled a rose oud fragrance like this. I was expecting, I mean, there's so many rose oud combinations out there. Joe Malone has rose and oud, MFK has rose and oud, Tiziana Terenzi, like every house out there, Montal, they all have like a rose and an oud. This is different. This is very, very pretty. Oh, okay, there is a freshness in here. I love that they have put that lemon and that pear in the opening. This is fresh. There's also a heavy dose of peony, so this really pretty light pink flower. It's really nicely balanced with the rose. The rose is not terribly strong in here. It's like a oud vanilla that you can wear in the spring and summer, believe it or not. It's so like, oh, it's so pretty. Yeah, it's so gorgeous. And of course, it smells very luxurious and very opulent because it is that, has that oud. I personally think, you guys, like, I might be alone in these thoughts, but I think that whenever you put oud in a fragrance, it automatically elevates it. It just makes it smell more expensive. Something about oud just makes everything smell so expensive. The oud is in there and it's noticeable, but it's not like super heavy. Even if you are opposed to oud, like even if you aren't somebody who likes oud, if you love a rose vanilla, this is really, really nice. Very pretty, very feminine. Oh, it's beautiful. You know what I like about it too is it's not sugary sweet. A lot of rose and oud fragrances or rose and vanillas really tend to go in that super sugary sweet direction. This doesn't really do that. It's stunning. It's the type of rose kind of vanilla fragrance that I would wear myself, being somebody who typically doesn't like that scent profile. Okay, and this one I'm really, really excited for because I love coffee and I love coffee fragrances. This is Cafe Oud 19. Yeah, 19. And the notes I'm loving. I'm loving the notes. I can't even imagine what this is going to smell like, and I'm so, so stoked to smell it. So in the opening, you have a cappuccino, which just looks so nice and inviting. Bergamot, mandarin orange. In the middle, you have geranium and rose. And in the base, you have white musk, vanilla, oud, and patchouli. And it looks as though the coffee, the musk, the vanilla, and the oud are going to be the most prominent notes. Let's go ahead and give this one a spray. I honestly, at this point, don't think I can expect a negative reaction from this line. Like, I just think they're all going to be great. Let's go spray it. Okay, Cafe Oud. I'm so excited. Ooh, okay, this is different than what I was expecting. Gotta give it a second to die down. So definitely the coffee is pronounced in here. The oud is not pronounced at all from what I'm getting so far. So if you're not an oud person, but you are a coffee person and a vanilla person, this is one to check out. Yeah, the cappuccino, the coffee is really coming through. Oh, that's pretty. When I first sprayed it, I was kind of thrown off a little bit by the fruitiness. There was a bit of a fresh fruity opening that I knew it was in there, but I wasn't really expecting it, especially in a coffee vanilla combination. It's not something we see a lot. Black Opium, for example, is a coffee pear vanilla. And in Black Opium, the pear is very pronounced. It's very sweet. And then there's, I think, jasmine, and it's just a really sweet vanilla. This is more of a cozy, realistic cafe, subtle, I'm actually sitting down drinking a latte kind of a feel, but with these beautiful slight aspects of this kind of floral touch in there. Yeah, there's geranium. It's beautiful. It's really, really nice. This one is like a fall vibe fragrance for sure. It's sweet, it's cozy, and the coffee really comes through. The oud in here is the least pronounced so far out of any of them. The oud was the strongest in the tobacco, the second strongest in the rose, and the third strongest in here from what my nose is picking up. If you were to smell this and you didn't know it was an oud fragrance, I don't know if you would necessarily pick it up right off the hop. So for those of you who are kind of scared of oud, don't be scared of this one. If you like coffee fragrances, you need to check this one out. It's very, very pretty. I really, really like it. I really like it. This is fall vibes for sure. This is something I would spray on with my Veja shoes, with my beige colored leggings from Aritzia to go do some shopping and pick myself up a pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks. This is that fragrance. It is that perfect fall vibe. Like, this couldn't have come at a more perfect time. if you like that type of thing, you should check this out. Okay, and now to unbox the large one that they sent me, the 50 ml, which I'm so grateful for because this was the one I actually put myself on a wait list for. I just knew it was going to be, I mean, how can I say I haven't smelled it yet, but I had a feeling it was going to be amazing. I love oud, I love vanilla. I tend to love Kayali. I really wanted to smell this one. So like I said, my name is still on a release list for this. And yeah, I'm so stoked that this is the one that they sent a large bottle of. I'm like so grateful right now. I can't even tell you. Okay, so let's take the top off. So that's what it looks like without the top. The packaging is absolutely beautiful. All right, guys, so the notes that you have in here are actually looking kind of familiar. It's looking like it might resemble a little bit other vanilla oud fragrances or vanilla like saffron fragrances that I've smelled before. It's a very common scent profile to put saffron, praline, vanilla, and oud together. It is an extremely common scent profile, but if there's one thing I've learned about Kayali, it is that they always tend to push the boundaries a little bit. They always tend to do something a little different than what I expect. Yeah, all of their perfumes have something kind of different, unique, special about them that sets them apart from everything else I've smelled. Praline, saffron, and pear in the opening. In the middle, we have Bulgarian rose, but just a very small amount, which I'm kind of grateful for. I didn't want this to be another vanilla rose fragrance. And in the base, vanilla sugar, white musk, cashmere wood, a little bit of oud, and oak moss. So I'm super excited for this, but I'm also a little bit nervous because it could go either way, but I think it's going to be beautiful. So let's go ahead and give it a spray. Okay, vanilla oud. Ooh. Yep, it's totally different than what I expected. Totally different. And very pleasant. Yeah, it's a pleasant surprise. Oh, it's very pretty. Oh my gosh, it's so different. Okay, so different than what I expected. It's beautiful. Okay, so the very first note, the note that sticks out the most to me is the vanilla sugar. And it's not just vanilla, and it's not brown sugar, and it's not just sugar. It is vanilla sugar. Oh my God, it's beautiful. Oh my gosh, it's so nice. Honestly, I don't think Kayali can make a bad fragrance. Like, I really don't think they can. I think everything Mona touches turns to gold. It's so pretty. Where do I begin with this one? So it's pretty gourmand. It's sweet. It's smooth. Again, I don't really pick up much oud at all. It's not particularly spicy, but I do get the saffron. But the saffron is very clean, very light, very airy. It's very pretty. It's reminding me of something too. It kind of makes me feel like I've smelt this on somebody before, but it smells like a rich woman. It's like bright and airy and sweet and kind of sparkling. The sweetness that's in here very much reminds me of the sweetness that was in the Wedding Silk Santal, or the Wedding Silk fragrance, the one for women. It's cashmere, it's soft, it's feminine, it's pretty. I can see why they said that this layers well with all of the other fragrances, because I 100% would definitely layer this with all of the other ones. This would be amazing with the tobacco one to make it more feminine. This would be amazing with the cafe one to give it a little bit more sweetness and kind of some more body. This would match really well with the rose one. Yeah, this is very soft, very feminine, very musky, kind of delicate, not deep and dark. Like, yeah, again, if you are afraid of oud, don't be afraid of oud with this one. It is not heavy or dark or in your face. I think that a lot of oud fragrances in the past kind of set me up to expect something with oud every single time, like the oud was going to smell a certain way every single time. Yeah, this is totally different than a lot of other vanilla ouds I've smelled before. I think a lot of vanilla ouds tend to go in the almost like shog-off oud direction. You know what I mean? Where they all kind of smell a little bit similar, like oud bouquet, oud satin mood, shog-off oud. All of those like very well-known vanilla-y, oudy fragrances that are super intense and kind of throw you off. Like they're too strong, you cannot wear them certain times a year, maybe you feel they're too masculine. This is very, very different from those fragrances. Yeah, it's sweet. You definitely get the praline, you get the vanilla sugar. Very different from what I was expecting, very different. And I would also say that the vanilla that's in here is not a sticky, buttery, rich vanilla, and it's not like a bourbon vanilla. This is much more of a sparkling sugar vanilla, if you know what I mean. And the saffron in here paired with the praline is a perfect combination. It just lifts it up and gives it this airiness. So I really, really like this one. I think the one that I was the most wowed by was the tobacco one. That one is very potent, and I was like, wow, like that thing smells really incredible. Also the rose one, I was really, really impressed by because I didn't expect to like a rose fragrance. This one and the cafe are a little more mainstream. They're a little easier. They're definitely going to be more of their best sellers, I think, in terms of their primary audience. This one is very, very mass pleasing, very likable, hard to go wrong. Honestly, if you're looking for like Christmas gift, if you're looking to get yourself a new sugary vanilla fragrance, you can't really go wrong with this one, I don't think. Okay, so that was my first impression. My bed's a little bit of a mess. I just sprayed them all on skin. I'm going to give them some time, come back, let you know. I might not do really longevity in today's video. I kind of just want to tell you like the differences, what I pick up on skin and the sillage and all that kind of stuff. I will have to come back and do like a proper, tell you how long they lasted and all that kind of stuff. But to be honest, you guys, longevity for me is not a deal breaker as long as I get decent wear. As long as they last 5-6 hours, I'm happy with that. Okay guys, so this is me from the future coming to you. I wanted to let you know that actually the vanilla fragrance as well as the cafe really, really came through and surprised me the longer that I had them on my skin. I actually tried layering the vanilla and the cafe together, not just kind of experiencing them both on my body, but physically spraying one and then one on top of the other. You guys, that combination, the vanilla and the cafe, are a match made in heaven. It literally smells like the most delicious, sweet, like delightful cafe latte you can imagine. It smells so good. It's sweet, it's sugary, it's coffee. It's super addictive. It's like really warm and cozy and comforting. And I really think that the vanilla is a great base for the cafe because it really gives it some oomph and helps it to project, and it helps it to last a little bit longer. I noticed that the cafe on its own didn't last quite as long as when I paired it with the vanilla. The vanilla is probably definitely the longest lasting, like I said, and the furthest projecting out of all the fragrances in this collection. And I would say that those two are definitely my favorite. If you were tempted, I know this is going to sound weird, but I think it's the way the Kayali perfumes are meant to be. But if you were tempted to get one or the other, like the cafe or the vanilla, or you were just tempted to get the cafe, I would honestly recommend to get both and layer them both together because the two layered together is so good, like even better than either of them by themselves. I think the vanilla by itself is also fantastic. I mean, they're all good by themselves, but literally that cafe and that vanilla is just like a match made in coffee heaven. It smells like I'm in a coffee shop, and a delicious, sweet, like sugary coffee shop. It smells so good. And it's really giving me all the vibes, all the like September, October, fall vibes. Couldn't have been released at a better time. I'm totally obsessed with it. I actually wore this out later in the day, had to go to the gym, had to run a few errands and stuff. And yeah, the longer it was on my skin, the better it got. And the more and more I just found myself wanting to keep smelling it. So those are just some kind of afterward thoughts that I wanted to share with you guys. Okay guys, so I have them sprayed on my skin. They've been on my skin for just a few minutes. I just want to tell you kind of the key things that I pick up on skin, because fragrance always smells different on skin than it does on paper. So the vanilla oud is very warm, very cashmere, very musky, very nice, very cozy, very feminine, and at the same time has a brightness to it. The saffron really dissipates. I noticed the saffron came through a lot more on the paper than it does on my skin, which is nice. The cafe is interesting because on skin, what comes through the most for the cafe is actually the geranium really comes through. Imagine a geranium cappuccino. That's kind of what this smells like. A little bit of vanilla, but it's mostly about that geranium and that coffee. So you have to like a floral coffee fragrance. And again, I'm not picking up oud on my skin with that one. And I think it would be very, very nice layered with the vanilla oud. The vanilla oud is stronger. The weakest one of the bunch, like the one that doesn't have, the one with the least sillage and the least body to it, is going to be your cafe. One of the stronger ones, it's quite potent, And on my skin, the rose really shines through in this one. It's very, very pretty. It still smells quite fresh. It still smells like something you could wear year round. You still get lots of the peony, but the rose definitely does shine through on your skin. The tobacco one on skin, actually, again, ignore my Band-Aid. I know it's not very pretty. On skin, the tobacco one, the tobacco note really, really comes through. It smells even more masculine, I think, on skin. Kind of reminds me of like if you've ever smelt the front of a man's shirt, like, it's going to sound strange, but when I was a little girl, my dad always used to keep his tobacco in the front pocket of his shirt. And so it kind of has that like tobacco in your clothing kind of vibe. It's kind of a, let me see. It's kind of like almost like a dry tobacco. It's not particularly sweet on the skin. It's a little bit more dry. It definitely smelled more vanilla-y and more oudy to me when I first sprayed it on paper. On skin, the tobacco is what really, really comes through with this one. So I guess all that to say, I really think that they were right in saying that you can layer any of these with the vanilla. In fact, I almost think you kind of should, because the vanilla would just bring out a sweetness in all of them. It would bring out a little bit more sweetness in the cafe. It would just add something special to the rose, although the rose I don't think you really need. The rose is quite gorgeous on its own. Like, the rose one almost has a spring feel to me to it because of that peony that's in there. But I really think that the vanilla and the tobacco mixed together would be a really nice combination, because on skin it does get a little bit drier. Like the tobacco gets a little bit drier and almost loses a bit of that vanilla that I smelled on the paper when I first sprayed it. So yeah, you guys, that's my kind of first impression and a little mini review of these fragrances. I will come back later in the day and I will tell you like the longevity, how long all of them lasted, and kind of my final thoughts. But this was my first impression. Honestly, I think that Kayali really outdid themselves with this collection. They are all beautiful, and I think that they all would layer really well together. So yeah, I'm excited to see how they last throughout the day, and I will come back and update you guys. Okay guys, so it's been a few hours. I thought I would come back and give you guys my final thoughts on these perfumes for today. So basically, everything I said about them in the beginning kind of held true right until like the end of the day. The one that was the softest but still had good longevity was Cafe Oud. All of them lasted at least a good 5-6 hours. Toward the end of the 5-6 hour mark on my skin, the Cafe Oud was a little bit softer, but I could still pick it up, which I think is pretty good. I've told you guys before in lots of videos that as long as I get a good like 5-6 hours out of a perfume, I'm happy. Honestly, the strongest two, the ones with the best longevity out of the batch for me personally, I would say is the Vanilla Oud. That one is kind of a beast. Like, it's pretty potent. If you are wanting a good sugary vanilla fragrance with a bit of an airiness to it that has good longevity, this has really good longevity. And also the Rose Oud. The Rose Oud is very, very strong, very potent, and definitely will be projecting and will be, you know, people around you will be able to smell it. I think that all of them people would be able to smell on you, but the softest one for sure is the Cafe Oud. And also the tobacco, surprisingly. I thought the tobacco oud would actually be one of the most farthest projecting and one of the strongest, and it really actually was not. The only thing I will say is I liked how the tobacco oud smelled better when I first sprayed it on paper and like in general, even just smelling it at the cap now. Oh gosh, like it smells absolutely incredible. I wish that the vanilla and the oud would have lasted a little bit longer on my skin. On my skin, like I say, the tobacco really, really came through. And for me personally, I don't like smelling super strong like tobacco. So that tobacco for me was kind of what made it a little bit more masculine. If I was going to wear this one, I would have to layer it with definitely with the vanilla. Because I think that would just give it a little bit of this like sweetness that I'm kind of missing on my skin. That being said, I think that this would still smell fantastic on a guy. I'm going to see if my boyfriend likes it. He doesn't typically like spicy, warm, tobacco-y kind of fragrances. He prefers lighter, more fresh fragrances, but I'm going to see if he likes them. So yeah, the tobacco one was honestly, as much as I loved it when I first sprayed it, and it smells incredible like when you first spray it, that's why it's so important to put perfumes on your skin, because it does change quite a bit on skin. And unfortunately for me, the tobacco pulls through a little too much for me personally. If I was a guy, my impression of this might be totally different because I just personally don't like to smell super masculine, and I don't like to smell like super strong tobacco. So for me, I just wish that the vanilla and the oud would have been a little more prominent in the tobacco one. The cafe one, yeah, the cafe one still smells really beautiful, even though it's a little softer now. And I really like the cafe, but again, I think I would mix the cafe with the vanilla, because those two together, like when I just kind of wave my arm around, I really like that combination. I like the combination of the coffee with the sugar, with the vanilla, the whole thing together. It smells really lovely, and it just makes each fragrance a little bit more complex than just simply a vanilla or a coffee. However, like I said, the Cafe Oud is also much more about that geranium. It's quite floral, so you do have to like a floral scent. If you're expecting something that's going to be straight up coffee and oud, first of all, the oud is like almost non-existent to me. But if you're expecting straight up coffee or straight up vanilla, you're going to be surprised, because it does have quite a fresh, strong floral component, and that really shines through on your skin. And then the rose oud, I would say that the rose oud is the one that smells the most similar on skin as it does on paper. It's going to give you, spraying this one on paper is going to give you quite a realistic expectation of what to expect on your skin. I almost feel like you kind of need the vanilla, you know, to go with the other ones. Not really. Like, it depends on what you like. But for me personally, I would want to layer the vanilla with all of the other ones. And that is something that Kayali is known for, is their layering combination. So, yeah, honestly, and again, I think that's why they probably sent the large bottle of the vanilla, because the vanilla is meant to be paired with all of them. And together, they just smell amazing. This vanilla oud just like elevates the other fragrances and brings them to a whole other level and gives them something a little special. Yeah, it smells really, really good. I mean, you really can't go wrong. And on the flip side, if you wanted just a more simple fragrance that is simply more about that vanilla, the sugar, kind of the sweetness, the airiness of the saffron, this kind of muskiness that's in there, it's really beautiful. And it's heavenly on skin. It doesn't really smell anything like Kayali Vanilla 28. So if you're expecting because Kayali Vanilla 28 is a brown sugar vanilla, this is just a regular vanilla sugar. They don't really smell anything alike. So don't expect them to smell too similar. They're quite different. I would rather layer this one with these ones than Vanilla 28. I don't think Vanilla 28 would go as well with them, because Vanilla 28 is kind of its own special, like orchid, brown sugar, amber. It's already got a lot going on, and it by itself is a fantastic scent. This one's a little more simple. I'm a little surprised by the Cafe Oud, to be honest, because the Cafe Oud, like I said, is so much more about the geranium and the floral notes than it is coffee or oud. It's honestly like they could have called it cafe geranium or something. Yeah, and it even has this little bit of a freshness, like this bit of a sweetness in it. I think they said there was orange in this one, didn't they, or something? So yeah, this one actually has a bit of a fresh fruitiness in a sense to it. So yeah, that one really surprised me. I was expecting this one to be bolder, deeper. I was expecting it to be more about the woodiness, and it's just not as deep and rich as I thought it was going to be. That's about it. So those are my final thoughts on these fragrances, you guys. Longevity is not an issue. For sillage, I would say it's moderate sillage, with the exception of the Cafe Oud, which is a little bit more closer to the body. And actually the tobacco one is also a little closer to the body. The biggest sillage you're going to get, I think, is going to be with your vanilla and with your rose. That's just my personal impression and how they wore on me. And yeah, so those are my final thoughts on these perfumes, you guys. I hope that you really enjoyed hearing my thoughts. I honestly think that they outdid themselves with this line. I think it's really good. I think it's really original. They haven't done anything quite like this before. Out of their like tobacco-y fragrances, I actually prefer, I think it is was it the Invite Only, I would say. Yeah, so that's my thoughts on these fragrances, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this review. Again, I want to say a huge thank you to Kayali and Mona for sending these over to me. I'm so, so grateful, and I'm really excited to wear them more in the future and see how I like them and just experiment with different layering combinations. And I'll probably come back to you guys at some point in the future and tell you what some of my favorite layering combinations are. And so you guys, that's it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed hearing my first impressions and my little review on these fragrances. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope to see you all very soon in the next one. And if you have tried any of these perfumes, or if you are interested in any of them, I'd also like to hear your thoughts on them down below. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I'll see you all very soon in my next one. Bye for now.